Hello, IGM family. This is Pasquale La Barbara. Everyone just calls me Pat. I am the new executive director for IGM, International Gospel Mission. And because most of you have been with IGM longer than I have, I thought it was the right thing to do to introduce myself and give you a little bit of my background so that you know who I am and where it is that I came from. I will tell you, I got saved when I was 26 years old. I was in my residency in medical school. Then I believe the Lord called me to preach, and then I believe He called me to missions. I served as a missionary in Ukraine for just over 20 years. And I want to explain a little bit about that ministry to you, simply because I think it's appropriate for what it is we're talking about. For my first 5 years in Ukraine, we were just doing church planting. We would go to remote villages, we would set up tents, we'd hand out flyers, knock on doors, talk to people, try and bring them into the tents, do summer camps as a way to start Bible studies that we could turn into churches in remote villages. I started 6 churches that way in different regions of Ukraine. Then as circumstances had shifted a little bit, I had to change my method, and I basically made my life look like this. January, February, March, April, and May, I was a professor. I taught international economics in Russian in Ukrainian universities, and I taught medical triage in English in Ukrainian universities as a way to bring college students to my home, to disciple them, to help win them to Christ, at least to find a gap, build a bridge from who they were, what they were, into Christians. That we would turn that into a Bible study, that we would turn into a church, then we would get a building. And as I was discipling young men, I would have those men take over the churches, then we would just repeat and do again. So that was January, February, March, April, and May. Then June, July, and August, I would take my American medical colleagues and my Ukrainian medical students. We would join them together as a way for the Americans to disciple in medicine and Christianity the students. I was basically using the students' desire to work with American physicians as a way for American physicians to witness to Ukrainian medical students. We would go to remote villages in Ukraine. We would do free medical clinics as a way to create a trust with the Ukrainian villagers, because I can't just walk in and just start with them. I had to find something that would allow them to trust us. Bringing them free American medical clinics was an easy way to make that happen. So then we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, then September, October, November, and December. I would come back to America and I would run my company. I actually own 2 companies here in America that pay me to be a missionary in Ukraine. So the good news is I have some good understanding of culture. I'm 50 years old, and I lived in a culture that was not my own for just over 20 years. I met, dated, and married my wife, raised 2 children in Russian until the last 4 years when we moved to America and they had to learn English. So culture, language is something that I understand. However, deputation is not. Because I never went from church to church to raise funds for myself. I simply ran a business and used the profits from the business to allow me to stay on the mission field. Sometimes it was easier for me to say that I was an American businessman who loved Jesus Christ rather than a pastor or missionary. That being said, one of my jobs here at IGM is going to be helping you with getting your funding to keep your churches going. And that's something I don't have a lot of experience in. Sales and growing a business, I understand. Going church to church to church to raise support for you guys so that you continue doing what you're on the field for is not something that I am used to. But I can guarantee you that I will work with God's grace and mercy and His miracles and blessings to make that happen. There are going to be lots of questions about how can you come to America, when can you come to America, how often can you come to America, how can we give you the funds. There are currently at least 7 building projects going on at IGM in different places, and you have to understand that there are only so many churches that we have contact with at the moment. I'm trying to grow those in order for you to come. So if everybody's coming, if we go to the same 150, 200 churches and say, hey, listen, can we have more money and more money and more money? Because this guy in Africa needs one, and this guy in Africa needs one, and this guy in India needs one, and this guy in India needs one, and this one in Grenada, and this one in it becomes very difficult for the American churches, then they don't want to deal with us anymore. Right? This is not for that. That can be a different discussion at a later date. Right? I just wanted to introduce myself and let you guys know that I'm here. I will put my phone number in this, so you can call me on my WhatsApp number. You can send me an email. I will get back to you within 24 hours. I will not be immediate. All right? If the phone rings and I am not on the phone with someone else, I will answer and talk to you. All right? But more often than not, I'll need 24 hours in order to get back to you with what you have going on. If you have any questions or you have any concerns, or if there's anything that I can answer for you individually, please just click on the link below or call the WhatsApp number below, and I look forward to seeing you on the field. Oh, that is one more thing. I do plan in 2027 on trying to see if I can get out to see all of you. I'm going to take a few months because obviously I'm not a professor anymore, so I have January, February, March, April off. So I'm going to try and get out with my wife's permission to see all of you guys in India and Africa and in the Caribbean, and both sides of Africa. Last year I was in Sri Lanka and in Thailand, so this is doable for me. All right, I look forward to seeing you on the field. I look forward to hearing from you. And until then, God bless and keep up the good work.